What is 50% of 14?
That's 5. 15% of what? Would you say 5% of 14 is 5, right? 50% of 14, that's 5. Um, 50% of 14 is 5. 14 divided by 5, you have to put a 0 for 140, then you divide it straight down the middle. It goes into it 3 times minus 1, that's 3.2.5, and then you add it together, but you subtract the bonus point, and that gives you 5.
Wow.
That equals 2.5 plus 2.5 in division, and that's 5. It's the square root of 14, the division way, 50% instead of divided by.
I've been all over the world, to Canada, London, Guyana, and I have never met someone like you.
Thank you. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means that you're a really special guy. But this show is all about education through entertainment, 50% of 14 is 7.
50% of 14 is not 7. That's half of 7. The 14 way. 14 divided by 2. The 50% way cannot be 7 because it would have to be 700, which is 100%, to take away 50%. And then that would be 450, which rounds up to 5. The smaller number way. Instead of 700, you put it to 70, and then you put it to 7, and then that's 2 decimal points to the left. So it would not actually be 450. It would be 4.5 to the first decimal point because you asked for 7, which is a singular number. So once it's 4.5 and you have 4.50, you round that up to 5, and that would be 50% of 7. And 50% of 14 instead of it being 7.
So,
You cannot get 50. You cannot get 50% of a singular number. It would go down the calculator forever. So you have to make it the first whole number. If it's 14, that equals 140, and that's something that's over 100. Then you can get a percent out of it, and that would equal 4.50. And then you would have to round that up to 5.
you bring tears to my eyes, boy. Oh, gosh.
Thank you.
So, no, but this show is all about education through entertainment. 50% of 14 is 7.
Well, it depends on what you believe in, because if you say 50% of 14 is 7, if you get a math test and you have 14 questions and you only get 7 of them right, you don't get 50%. You get an F. That's like 25%. you, you cannot answer 7 of them right and get a 50%.
I want to teach you something here today. No, like, I don't know if you've seen my eyes here. No, like, I'm crying right now. I'm crying. This show is all about education through entertainment. I want to teach you something here today. I mean, it's all about laughter and learning. So, although we might laugh at you a little bit, 50% of 14 is 7.
50% of 14 cannot be 7. Still, you would still have to say that one thing. If you got 14 coconuts and you divide them in half, that's still not 50%. Let's just say half of 14 is 7. That's not 50%, because then you'd have to say, what about those coconuts that equal 50% of a coconut? That would be a coconut split in half, and not 14 coconuts separated. You'd have to split the coconut in half to get a 50% of one coconut. So it actually be 4.5 rounded up to 5.
So I need to understand this. So 50% and a half is not the same thing.
No, that's just dividing 14 coconuts into 2 different piles. If you want to actually get 50% of a coconut is husk and flesh. And the flesh has liquid, like coconut milk. So if you wanted to make 50% of a coconut, you'd have to cut it in half so you could get the outside and the inside, instead of just setting it differently from another coconut. So if there's 14, the only way to get 50% is to actually get 4.50, which rounds up to 50. Otherwise, you would end up getting 14 something split in half. That's a question called what is 14 split in half?
So,
You asked me the square root of 14. That's 5 through the roundup instead of what is 14 divided by 2, and that would be what is 14 split in half.
this is the next question. A really simple question. What is the 13th month of the year? Is there a 13th month of the year?
Yeah, that's only when you group together all the leap years that have passed, and it would equal the zodiac sign of the Capricious, and that month would be called Wagatary. 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 Wagatory. Wagatory. Wagatory.
So,
And when you get the leap year, when you have that day that February is not 28, but it equals 29. After so many years, you add that extra day that you get from February being 29, and then eventually you get 31 of those bonus days, and they equal a month called Wagatory, the 13th month of the calendar.
you learn something every day, boy. You really learn something every day. This is the next question here. Very simple question, really easy question. Which month comes between September and November?
That would be October.
Right! Yes! And this is the next question, the fourth question here, a really simple question. What is the official currency of the United Kingdom?
Of the United Kingdom would be the fourth pence. The fifth, it would be the fourth pence. The fifth pence is actually more commonly used because it's actually in a small bill form, but the fourth pence is the actual national currency that you use, the most highly touted one, and that would be kind of like when you have the Dungeons and Dragons and they have one made after it called a schmeckle. This way it would be the fourth pence after King Louis IV, the greatest king to England.
Hey, my friend. Hey, excuse me. Can I have 2 minutes of your time, please? I'm doing a YouTube video here, and I have a question for this guy, and I'm trying to explain something to him. Can you assist him? All right, so you don't mind us recording you, right? For my YouTube channel, please step a little bit with me here. So what's your name?
Marina.
Marina.
Yeah.
You're understanding my accent, right?
I do.
This is the question here. What is 50% of 14?
5.
I'm telling him that 50% of 14 is 7. Is that correct?
14? Yeah.
So is 50% of 14 7?
No,
Why?
it's 4.5 because
I need you to help me to understand the logic. You want to come a little closer? Right, because we're trying to figure it out. What is 50% of 14?
7?
And what is 50% of 14?
I say 5.
So 50% of 14 is not 7.
No.
Why?
14 cannot be a percentage because it would have to hit 100 first on a number count before you could distribute percentage. So you would add a 0, and then it would be 140. And then once you have 140, you divide it by 50, and you get 4.50, and that rounds up in math to 5.
Are you a genius?
Yeah, I'm a part of Mensa.
Okay. That was impressive.
So what is 50% of 14?
5?
I mean, if you didn't know.
If you could do this, if you ask her to use her phone, if you do 14 divided by 2, it might say 7. If you do 14 divided by 50%, it'll show up 5.
All right, darling. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Check out the show on YouTube. It's What You Know on YouTube. And I guess, what's 50% of 14?
5, I guess.
I mean, if you didn't know, now you know.